Right, my name's Neil Wrigglesworth. I'm General Manager of the Komori Graphic Centre in Tsukuba, Japan. I'm here in KIE working on the new Lithrone G40 press to show you some of the detail about this new machine. The reason that we call this press a G model is because it's green. When we manufacture this press, we use special manufacturing techniques to reduce the carbon footprint of the press. The press has got many green features which are designed into it, and our team who are working on this press and manufacturing this press constantly work to make sure that the press is environmentally compatible. This feeder head on the GL is the same feeder head that we use on our LSX model. This feeder head has got some special long stroke lifting suckers which allow us to easily run paper or carton board. If you have wavy carton board, we need to reach a long way to find that carton board. So these suckers have a special long reach. The forwarding sucker assembly, which is here, in order to pick up the sheet, comes back and aligns itself with the lifting suckers. When that happens, it means that we need the minimum amount of airflow underneath the sheet to transport it forward. The blower foot mechanism is a fixed blower foot. This just blows air in between the sheets, but it's a very wide blower. In fact, it's a double-sized blower. This means that we can easily blow air along the underneath the sheet to the front corners and pick up the front corners easily with the minimum amount of airflow. The pile height controller now is a little leveler which is here. This is just a leveler for controlling the pile height. The blow mechanism is in this large blower assembly, which also includes anti-static air blow at the same time. Right, we also added these guide wires. These guide wires move according to the paper size, front to back or side to side. This allows us then to use less air to separate the sheets. The new feeder board has got a single belt. This single belt runs fast and slow. It slows down to 50% of the paper speed. There are zone controls because when we have a different number of sheets or a different thickness of sheet, we need more air, medium air, low pressure air in this point. We've got default settings, and then the KHSAI works together with this air system, and if we modify it because of a different paper thickness or a different sheet size, the AI remembers it and modifies it next time by itself. At the front lay area, we have a vacuum side lay here, and we have a vacuum side lay at the drive side of the press. You can see these small vacuum wheels here. These are rotary timed vacuum wheels, and what they do is, as the sheet reaches the front lays, these vacuum wheels hold the sheet in contact with the front lays before the swing arm takes hold of the sheet and transfers it to the A transfer cylinder, the advanced cylinder. You'll notice that it's very clean down here because we've no longer lots of smoothers in here. It's all one assembly. It's all fixed. And what we do is, underneath it, there is a Venturi pad. This plate is full of Venturis, which are once again part of the air preset system. And the air preset system speaks to the KHSAI system. So this Venturi plate here, if we make any modifications, we make modifications simply on a touch panel, the KHSAI sees the difference between our modification and the original default value, and then memorizes that modified value for the next time we do this particular substrate. Down here you can see the swing arm. On the back of the swing arm grippers there are some small rollers. These are to protect scratching from the back of the paper or of the carton board or of the plastic that we're running. That swing arm passes the sheet into these grippers on the, we call this A cylinder. This is the advanced cylinder, the infeed cylinder. The swing arm itself has got the capacity to actually cure a fan out problem. From control from the operation panel, we can deform this gripper shaft here, and we can compensate for any fan out difference between the first unit and the last unit. We can do this on the run at any speed, under any conditions, with any substrate. Right, the Komori-matic dampening. We all know the Komori-matic dampening is 4 rollers: a pan roller, metering roller, oscillating chrome roller, plate dampener. The plate dampener is gear driven. It runs at about 6.5% slower than the surface of the plate, and what this does, it picks off the hickeys. Our system picks them off before you even saw them. On this plate dampener, we have now 2 rider rollers. We have this rider roller on the top, this McKinley roller, which oscillates and turns with. This breaks up the ink film on the roller. And then in here, just below here, is another rider roller. This is a second rider roller. What this does is, it levels out the water film as it transfers from here, through that nip, and then around onto the plate in contact with this roller. This roller carries the water onto the plate. So this second nip roller here levels out the water film before it gets onto the plate. This pan roller and this metering roller are geared together at that side of the press. There's a large gear on here and a small gear on here. What that does is, this makes this roller run about 20% faster than this roller. And this roller then stays perfectly clean. We don't pick up any ink on this roller surface. That's one of the big points. That's one of the reasons that we can easily run alcohol free. Right, this is the inking system. In our inking system, what we have is, we call it auto nip following. Basically, it means that all the distributor rollers, here for example, are held on some special spring lever assemblies at each side. Those spring lever assemblies maintain the roller contact no matter what the roller condition is. It's of vital importance when you're printing inks like UV or any inks which might change the roller's diameter. This is the new plate clamp. This plate clamp is based on our LSX technology. The inside of the clamp is no longer corrugated. It's got a rough finish plasma coating. What that does is that when it nips the plate and holds the plate, of course the plate doesn't slip, but it doesn't deform the plate as it's positioned onto the register pins here and over there. So the effect of it is that when we change the plates with the automatic plate changing system and the clamps close, they hold the plate in exactly the correct position on the register pins, which means that when you print a job of 4 or 5 colours, it's quite unusual now to make any kind of cocking adjustment on the transfer cylinder or cocking the sheet. The tail edge also, the tail edge is a new clamp which has no bend at the tail edge. This clamp is, again, this has got this plasma coating on the inside of the clamp, and when the plate is inserted, it's inserted by these rollers here. This shaft lifts up and inserts the tail edge of the plate into the clamp. The clamp is lifted up out of the way. This is pushes the plate forward, and this clamp drops down to lock up on the tail edge of the plate. Of course, we can move these plates if we need to. Right, this is the impression cylinder. This is the skeleton transfer cylinder. If I move them forward for you, You can see here, this is the gripper pad bar. The gripper pad bar on this press is specially machined so that we don't need to change the height of this pad bar between 0.04, 0.06 thick paper and 0.5 millimeter paper. So when we go to thicker paper we can change it, but in fact we don't need to change it up to 0.5. The gripper pads here are still the diamond pads. The gripper tip has got a special hardened face, and you'll notice that these here, these are the bearings which hold this shaft. These bearings have no grease nipple on them because they're now grease for life. So this is an ink fountain for an HUV application. As you can see here, look, this is a cover over the top of the ink fountain which protects the ink inside from the ambient light inside the factory. The ambient light will cause the HUV ink to cure quickly. So if it's left open like that for half an hour or so, the ink which is in here will start to cure on the edges. So we use this cover. We can see inside, but it's actually a UV cut glass. The ink fountain itself is part of the KHSAI system. If you can see, this is the end of the roller here, and on the ink fountain, this part of the cheek, this face here and this face here, they run on the edge of the roller here. This part of the cheek runs on the face of the roller here. The reason for running on the face of the roller means that when it's locked into place like that, that roller controls the position of this ink key and ink fountain assembly. So it maintains the gap between the tip of this key and the face of that roller. That means what we can do is we can adjust this gap very easily to 5 or 6 microns, and then it always remains at 5 or 6 microns. This is also part of the KHSAI system. So if, imagine, let's say that we had over a repeat of a few jobs where this key had a slight, gave a little bit more yellow ink on this ink fountain, for example. The PDCS would modify those automatically. It would then speak to the KHSAI and say to the AI, do you know I modified that yellow? And the AI would say, okay, don't modify it next time, I'll modify it. The effect of that is that what we have, these ink keys, we no longer have to zero continuously. These ink keys will, the zero position, the working position of these ink keys is now controlled by the KHSAI. And the reason we can control it is because we have a perfect fit between here and here. In this delivery, what we have in this particular machine, we have an IR module, IR and hot air module, here in the upsweep, and we also have an IR module across the top in the flat part of the delivery. Right, this is the Highline Delivery. You saw earlier on the dryer module in here, and then we also have an IR dryer module here. Look, I'll show you inside. In here, this is the IR module which is in the flat part of this delivery. And then this is the HUV lamp. There's only one. This is space for four lamps, 4 regular UV lamps. But in fact, we are just using just this one quarter of this available space to put in an HUV lamp. The HUV lamp has got the power inlet, and this power inlet also we have, this is water cooling in and out for the lamp shutters. The lamps themselves run quite cold, So the shutters will just simply close when the press stops, but the lamp will stay lit up, it will stay illuminated. Right, this you can get a view of a delivery gripper bar on this press. These are the grippers, and as you can see along the gripper shaft itself, there are no grease nipples. The only access for grease is at this end. It's a low maintenance gripper shaft assembly. You can see at the back there the vacuum wheels. These vacuum wheels, the gripper bar is over the top of the vacuum wheels. Those are the vacuum wheels for slowing the sheet down when it comes into the delivery. And we can change the volume of vacuum on those wheels by adjusting these two levers here. Right, that was the walk through this new Lithrone G40 press. I hope it's been informative, and I hope to see you sometime in the KGC, either in Europe here or in Japan. Thank you very much for your time.